Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Phillies Hudson Vidcast. Today, I'm once again joined by Joe. He's obviously, I think you've gotten to know him a little bit. He's a Phillies fan coming on again. So, Joe, I'd like to welcome yourself.
What's going on, everybody? I'm back.
And today, we're going to be discussing a little bit the game last night. I know I made a video about the game last night about how much of a train wreck it was, but we're also going to be discussing next three games of the series and what we think the outcome is going to be. So tonight we'll have Vince Velasquez on the mound going against Walker Buehler. So let's just first we're going to talk about last night's game, about how much of a train wreck I said it was, and there were like multiple things that went wrong last night. So you could go to the umpires, you could go to the fundamental baseball, the mental mistakes, the real errors out in the field, and like the management, the poor management. It's really frustrating. So what do you make of the game last night?
It was really just a disgrace. It got so bad I had to turn off the game. That's how you know it's bad. And I'm not one to do that. I'm pretty loyal, even when we're getting blown out. But it was just bad. It was bad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, geez, at one point we were down 12-1, and Roman Quinn comes in to pitch. That's how you know it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
It blows my mind how we keep losing game after game, and there's no changes. No one's stepping up and talking in the locker room. Gabe Kapler hasn't done anything to change the team. The lineup's basically been the same. There's just so many things to blame.
Yeah, and I think it's time for Kapler to start putting Harper in the fifth spot of the lineup. And
no, I don't even think the fifth spot. I think you drop him down to I know it sounds crazy, but drop him down to 7 or 8. We'll see better pitches. He won't get curveballs, and he won't get off-speed pitches. He'll get fastballs because you can't throw off-speed 5 times to someone all the way down there. Look at Franco. The only reason he thrives down at the 8th spot is because he gets the fastball.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if they're throwing the same pitches all the time, you would know what to expect. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
I think as I said, I was talking about this last night, and I don't know. I believe you watched my video last night. Is that correct?
Me?
Yes.
A little bit of it.
Okay. Did you hear this? So last night I discussed the point that Gabe Kapler is not holding the players accountable for their actions.
No, it's not.
Yeah, and you could well way back to Gene Segura not running out ground balls, and I don't not want to blame him for Andrew McCutcheon's injury, but he did have something to do with it. And I don't think obviously this is just a saying.
Not him, but Ian Kingsler, whoever that dude was.
That was a heads up play by him.
That dude's just I hate that guy.
Yeah, I do too. But in his credit, I mean, he didn't really purposely want to tear his Achilles, But it was a heads up play by him. But still, I don't really like him either. But
I've never liked him.
Yeah, he's kind of a jerk. Anyway, flipping off his hometown fans, like he did a couple months ago. But anyway, he's not holding the players accountable, not benching guys when he needs to, and Michael Franco not running out a ground ball last night cost us a run. And
yeah, it's unacceptable. He could have, if that was Segura, and Segura was actually running it out, we would have had a run. We just gotta. Someone in the locker room has to step it up and address everyone to wake the hell up.
It's true.
It's what we need to do.
It's true, and we need that big voice, stepping up and saying, as you said, we got to snap out of this, whether that's like JT or Bryce.
We're giving Harper $330 million, and I don't think he said a word probably in the locker room. And he should be the guy. He should be the guy stepping up and waking everyone up. Even Gabe Kapler. He should even be waking up Gabe Kapler.
Exactly. But the thing is that you don't know what goes on behind closed doors. To Harper's credit and Kapler, you don't know what goes behind closed doors. But I do agree more has to be done. Another thing with this team that we talked about the discipline. Another thing we want to talk about is that they lack fundamental baseball. For example, bases loaded 2 times and you can't even push across a run once.
No, the thing that I don't understand. There was a ground ball last night to, I believe, back to the pitcher. I think it was right back to the pitcher, to Eflin. And this was in, like, the 4th inning.
Yeah, I remember that.
And bases were loaded, and we could have had the guy at home to save a run. But I'm pretty sure Ramito said to throw it to first, which I don't understand, just to get the out.
Yeah, the ball like went past him or something, and Franco.
Yeah, I forget. No, I don't think it was. I don't know which one it was, but it shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, I turned off the game at that point. So, and then we have Austin Barnes up at the plate, or I forget who. And then we have him stealing. No, he was at third. We have him stealing home because JT throws the ball down to second. Segura makes a horrible throw, bounces, and he can't pick it up in time and run scores. And those are the kind of plays that cost you ball games. Really, if you give a team 4 or 5 outs an inning, you're going to lose. And it's pretty clear. And another thing is as I said, you have bases loaded 2 times. You do not deserve the win if you can't push across at least 1 run. When you have it 2 times, you can't even push across a run.
It's terrible. Did we lose last night?
16-2. 16-2.
Yeah.
It's disappointing, to say the least. I mean, that's an understatement.
The Dodgers are a good ball team, but they're not a team that should be 16-2.
I would agree. They're a World Series team that they shouldn't be doing that.
I still don't think they're the best team in the league. I think they're very overrated.
Yeah, well, judging by their postseason history, I might agree with you. But we'll see what happens this year. But we're still, believe it or not, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but we are tied with the second wildcard spot after all this bad play. Obviously, we're 9.5 games out of first place, so we're not even worried about the division right now.
No,
I think at this point, we're not winning the division.
The Braves walked away with the division.
That is correct. Now,
we just have to fight for wild card.
We do.
I don't think we're going to get it. And
Possible.
I don't even think we should fight for it.
Yeah, I don't think we deserve it. If we do get it, then we do not deserve it.
We don't deserve it.
No.
Not at all.
No. And here's another thing. A part of me wishes that if this goes on any longer, obviously I want us to make playoffs. If this goes on any longer to like August, and part of me hopes we just get knocked out anyway. That way we did not have to see this California dude be our manager next year. Really? Do you agree with me? Gabe Kapler.
100%.
Yeah, Gabe. If we don't
make the wild card, then 100% he's fired.
Yeah,
he has to be.
Yeah,
and if he doesn't get fired, then that's a problem.
Yeah, and
that's a huge problem.
Contact I said this last night. Contact looks really, really stupid when he said that we're going to keep him for the rest of the season. That is a big risk.
It's stupid.
And it's backfiring a little bit.
What he should be saying is he should set a goal for him. Like, if you don't make the wild card, you're getting fired. So then he has, like, fire lit under his ass. Mm-hmm. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So he knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. And he just doesn't really seem to have that manager type feel. I just don't really get the vibe with him. There's certain managers.
He seems like the dude who laughs and all that good stuff.
Yep.
Like, the manager's not supposed to be a nice guy. He's not like Kapler nice.
Yeah. And you saw Doc Roberts last night. You know, he's a professional manager, and I wish that the Phillies.
Yeah. He's a great manager. I don't like him, but he's a great manager.
Yeah, I think he's a really good guy. I do like Doc. I know you don't like him, but what do you expect out of this game tonight? We have Vin Velasquez and Nick Pivetta. I mean, we're lucky to even win one. If we were going to win,
we're
not splitting the series.
The next 3 games.
No. Yep.
That's not even like it's not even a hot take. We're just gonna get blown out. It's just gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. And I'd hopes that maybe we could split the series, but after I said the only way we could do it is if we won last night, and obviously we lost. There was no way we're going to win these 2 games with Pivetta and Velasquez.
Last night's game showed that we can't win games against good balls.
And this team has a history of getting our hopes up and not doing anything. You know, sweeping out the Mets, maybe thought we can get it back on track, and then we just fizzle out like we always do.
Yep.
It's disappointing. And so you're saying, do you think we will finish this season with a below 500 record?
Yep, 100%. I still believe that we can maybe get the wild card, maybe.
Yeah,
if we
possible.
Get a pitcher. We just need a bullpen pitcher.
And in the playoffs, anything can happen.
If we get the bullpen, then yes, we'll be above 500.
Yeah, and Ken Giles
and make the wild card.
Yeah, Ken Giles has been dealt to St. Louis. That's one more guy off the board.
Yep.
So.
Well, maybe nothing's official yet.
Nothing's official, but it seems. Well, Ken Rosenthal reported it.
There's rumors.
Ken Rosenthal reported it, and he's one of the best insiders in baseball, as we found out this past winter with all that free agent stuff, right? So
that was a load of shit. But anyways, if we don't get a pitcher, we're below 500.
Yeah, I agree. Now, do you think if we do make the wild card and we lose, obviously we're not winning the World Series, but if we lose, then will you think Kapler will still be fired?
I hope so. I really do.
Yeah, because
if not, he'll get fired halfway through the season next year when we're not performing.
Yeah, well, we're definitely. If he doesn't,
he'll be gone in the next year and a half, no matter what, unless we win a World Series in like some miracle way.
Mm-hmm. My thing is this:
Harper starts batting .330 and like Bermuto and Hoskins.
That's not going to happen. Yeah. Harper's not even hitting .330, but possible. I guess he could, but he's a 270, 280 hitter, and he has 40 to 50 home run potential. So I think
Hoskins? Hoskins?
I see Hoskins. He's underachieved a little bit this year. I see him picking it up a little bit next year. Now, my thing is this: is that the Phillies do not make the playoffs this year, they're definitely going to have to fire Kapler. They have no excuses but to fire him. But if they do make a wild card spot, then they can make the argument to not fire him, saying, "Oh, we still make the playoffs." So if they don't make the playoffs, he's definitely
gone. If we win the wild card,
yeah.
If we lose it, then there's no exception. Because that's not getting anywhere.
Yeah. The wild card's just a 1-game playoff. I mean, I won't be really content. I mean, it'll better than nothing, I guess. But judging on the expectations that going in, what was that?
It doesn't like give you anything to brag about. Like, the only way I would be happy if they made it to like the NLCS or NLDS or whatever.
The NLDS, yeah. It's the NLCS, yeah. Yeah, I would be happy with that. I don't think that's really realistic at this point unless we fire it up.
Not at all.
Yeah, it's disappointing. So I know we talk about Harper a lot. Do you see Harper turning it up a little bit next year?
I honestly, dude, I don't even know what's wrong with that guy. He has been, like I've been saying, I told you this back in April, I think, when Harper got hurt in 2016.
17. He had a hyperextended
2017. He's never been the same player. He hasn't. If you look at his stats, he's only gotten worse.
That's necessarily. I have to disagree with you a little bit on that because last year in the first half he hit 218, and this year in the first half he hit like 255. And last year in the second half he played like an all-star.
Still really bad.
Yeah, he hit like 313. He had a good second half last year. So I agree with a little bit of what you're saying from a big picture standpoint, but I still think the potential is still there.
Listen,
he's 26.
We gave him 13 years. He better pick it up.
He'll do something. He's gonna have a couple of good years here.
He better.
Yeah, I mean he's still.
I don't know. The Phillies tend to sign someone big and then not do much if you look at it.
Yeah, from the history. Yeah, Ryan Howard. A couple players.
No, Howard did a lot.
And not in the contract though. Before he signed the contract, he did a lot, but not during the contract.
True.
Yeah, because he tore his Achilles. So.
He tore. Yeah.
In 2011.
Well,
so
I'm talking more like bigger name guys that we've gotten.
Yeah, Santana. He's been a disaster. He was a disaster. Arrieta was a disaster. I mean, not.
If we go a little bit farther back, we signed Hunter Pence.
Traded for him from Houston. He did pretty well. He did pretty well.
Not really anything.
Yeah, he didn't do that much, but yeah. I still think that the potential is there, and he has a lot going on. He's still, in the process of moving. That's a lot. People don't really think about this, but that's really hard on you mentally. And last year he played in a contract year, so I think maybe next year, is the year that maybe he could finally. Obviously he just bought a new home, so he just bought a new home, so he's still adjusting, and he's going to be having, his wife's going to be having. They're expecting, a kid in August, so that's not that far away. So it's kind of hard mentally to really play the game. If you got all that stuff in your personal life going on. So I think next year is the year that he could really sit down and focus on playing the game. He
better.
Yeah, and I think that his power numbers have actually been, if not better, on the road. and it's kind of disappointing because we expected him to do a lot more in this ballpark, and he just hasn't really done the job that he's needed to do. And I think I blame a lot of this on our hitting coach John Maley, as I like to say. I mean, I think we're going to have to fire a lot of our coaches going into next year. Do you agree?
Yep, I agree.
Kapler. I think Dusty Wathan needs to go. That guy has cost us so many runs this year. Aggressive base running not working out, and he's also sent guys home when they shouldn't have been sent. So, and he's also just held guys at third. When I was at the game the other day, Adam Eaton bobbled a ball in right field. We easily could have scored another run, and he told the guy to stop at third, which is cost us a run. But we still were able to win the game. But that doesn't always work like that. So we just got lucky. So before we end it off here, so you're saying that we're just going to get swept out this series?
I believe.
Yeah. Even with Noah, you don't think we'll be able to salvage that last game? Nope. Okay.
And I might go to that game. So.
Yeah. Well, anyway, after that, we go to Pittsburgh for 3 games and Detroit for 2. Now, and then we go back home to play the Braves. Now, I want to say this. Now, we always have trouble. Obviously, I want to say the Braves and the Tigers, the Pirates and the Tigers are easy teams to beat, which they are. But we always seem to have trouble beating the easy teams. Do you agree?
I agree.
Yeah. So you don't know what we're going to expect out of that series. So that is pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I was joined by Joe. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.